Happy Saturday, Risers. We hope you are all having a phenomenal weekend. Saagar and I are back with some of our favorite moments from the week.
That's right. So first, author and journalist Ryan Krystal joined us to discuss the story that he broke on John Weaver of the Lincoln Project. Ryan detailed the process of getting victims to come forward, told us what he learned from his sources.
Yeah, so this is a really well-known writer, and he's done a lot of stories on sexual abuse and sexual harassment. And I called him and I said, I've never done a story on sexual harassment. I said, I'm talking to a young man about being sexually harassed by another man. I don't know how to approach a victim. Could you tell me? And all I said was the person who approached him, who harassed him, was a well-known Republican political consultant. And they responded, it's John Weaver. I mean, it wasn't even like within a second. My mouth dropped. I had no idea how well it was known within Washington, D.C. that John Weaver was doing this to young men. I mean, Rick Wilson keeps saying on his podcast, it was gay Twitter. It was not gay Twitter. First of all, it's called election Twitter. That's first of all. Secondly, not on just, gay Twitter. That was just a bunch of young men. I mean, there's a reason I wrote that it was called the article is called The Lincoln Project's Predator, not Twink Lives Matter. Wasn't just I was sitting there and reaching out to just people on gay Twitter. It was so widespread.
Let me just tell you.
Ryan has a way of making me laugh.
That dude is fearless. He just goes all the way in. But he really...
But he was right.
He was right. And, I got to tell you, I saw him fishing around on some of this stuff, trying to gather information. This was like back over this. I mean, he'd been at this for quite a while. And I wasn't really sure if there was any there ultimately. Yes. But he's the one who really broke the story. This turns out to have been an open secret in D.C. Of course, the mainstream media gives him very little credit for being the one that actually brought this all out into the open, but we certainly give him tons of credit for that here.
100%. All right.
Funky academic Irene Frimpong also joined us this week. It's always adventurous to discuss the stock restrictions on Robinhood and break down what it all means. Here he is explaining artificial demand.
Demand is artificial as the goods and services they are produced for, right? I mean, some people buy Apple phones because they like the product. Other people buy Apple phones because they want to chat with an Apple phone that sends a blue bubble because they know their friends and dates and bosses will resent them if they chat with a green bubble rather than a blue bubble. Is bubble color a sign of artificial demand? Has Apple made us bubble bigots and profits off our bubble bigotry because creating bubble bigots is a lot cheaper than designing a better phone? Right? So people who talk about the fundamental value of a company versus artificial demand, it's just a weak argument unless we're going to have the whole conversation.
I don't know about you, Saagar, but I don't see bubble color.
Yeah, I don't see bubble color.
It's all equal to me.
No, I'm joking. I actually do see it. I heavily discriminate against Android users. Sorry. I like typing from my laptop, and I always will. But yeah, look, Irami is correct in that, in looking at and identifying what it exactly, the Robinhood situation represented around this entire thing. And yeah, I just love listening to him when he talks.
Always.
Okay, finally, journalist and CEO of Status Coup, Jordan Sheridan, he brought us some more details on the devastating story of Pashan Brown. She was an Amazon worker. She died in her sleep after being assigned to administer COVID tests to coworkers. We do not know if she died of COVID, but that were the circumstances around her death. He discusses some of those around her job, and he explains how a union might have saved her.
And by the way, if Pashan had a union, her sister recounted that her sister was fighting with her, and they were very close, don't work in this COVID testing center. Their mother is paralyzed from the waist down. She's got other health problems. Her sister was concerned that Pashan might bring it home. If her mother got it, that could be fatal. And Pashan said, they told me they're going to give me a bonus. I'm getting a bonus for this kind of work. That bonus never came. But again, if she had a union, first I would hope the union asked, why are you asking Pashan to do this? But secondly, to ensure protective gear, hazard pay, all those things that you would expect when, average working class people are taking extraordinary risks during a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we don't know the cause of death is because the family couldn't afford an autopsy. Amazon was unwilling or did not respond to the request to help them be able to afford that autopsy. But what the story really exposes is the kind of careless neglect that the company's been showing to workers. And that's what Jordan uncovers here, the conditions that she was working in. She wasn't a nurse. She wasn't a medical professional. Being asked to test her fellow coworkers who were concerned that they had coronavirus, inadequate precautions and protections in place. It's really important.
That's where I was like, wait, how many other people are doing this? I was like, this is insane. And look, we're never going to go to the answer to that question.
Yeah, and let me just say, Amazon hasn't actually responded to Jordan on the record. They did say, I think, to a CNBC reporter that no, the workers were self-testing. It wasn't being administered by other coworkers. So that is their response.
Okay.
That does it for us. We'll be back later today with the week that was in Media Screw Up.
That's right. Hit the subscribe button. You don't miss any of our videos. Don't forget to like and share as well. Tomorrow, going to be back for another round of #RisingQs. We're going to see you guys then.
Have a good one, guys.